Guess what? It's that time of the month again. G'day everyone, have you seen one of these before? This I reviewed a few days ago. Check it out up in the top corner. If it's not up there, have a look down in the description. Yes, this is a genuine Makita, something a bit different. So if you want to know what it is, like I say, have a look down in the description. It'll be called Makita 9803. Before I show you some of the new patents, let's take a quick look at some StealthMount gear. I know I've shown you StealthMount stuff before and given some away. Well, the good guys at StealthMounts just keep sending it to me, so I've got some more to give away to one of you guys. So leave me a comment down below if you want some 18 volt stuff. It's not just 18 volt, those two are 18 volt. These will go on any drill or impact driver, and this is for your track saw rail. So those aren't specific to any particular voltage or anything, but those are 18 volt tool holders and battery holder. So let me know down below, just tell me what country you live in, or if you want to tell me a joke or something, that's fine as well, but just tell me what country you live in and I will give these away to somebody. I will draw it and put up a post before my next Makita video, which will be on the 8th of December. Okay, so keep a lookout for that. Don't listen to anybody who says you've won down in the comments section of this video. It'll be a lie. Only pay attention to my proper name, Tools and Stuff Official, and make sure, you know, don't go clicking on any bloody WhatsApp thing or Telegram or any of that shit. So that'll be, like I say, December the 8th. So let's get those out of the way. If you want double the chances of winning, I've got some more to give away over on my Patreon channel, so take a look down in the description for a link to Patreon if you want to get into that. I do videos on Patreon. You get them first, you get them like a week, sometimes a couple of weeks. Sometimes they go up on Patreon and they never ever come up on YouTube, so you might get lucky. Plus I also do other updates on what I'm filming and stuff as I go along, sort of behind the scenes, and give away Makita tools all the time. Just gave away an inflator to somebody in Canada today. So 40 volt inflator. So if you want stuff like that, have a look at the old Patreon down there in the description. Right, let's get into this thing. This is a Makita 2 amp hour 12 volt battery. For years there's only been 2 amp hour and 4 amp hour, but now there is a 5 amp hour version. That's right. Let's take a look at it on the screen now. This is a slim 5 amp hour battery. The standard 2 amp hour battery has 18650 cells in it, 3 of them running lengthways down the battery, whereas this new one has 21700 cells. It's got Samsung 50S cells, which are sort of as good as you get when it comes to lithium ion cells, and so they can put out 5 amp hours in a package, not much bigger than this. Certainly smaller than the 4 amp hour battery, which is a double layer of cells. It's got 6 cells in it. That has just been released in Japan and hopefully will be rolling out around the rest of the world not too far away. Now it's going to be a bit wider than this and a little bit taller. The width, maybe it'll cause a problem on some 12 volt tools. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but it may cause a problem in some of the 12 volt radios or something like that that are, you know, enclosed in the back. I can't say for certain off the top of my head. Right, now we're going to get into the patents. Now Makita have released a few patents recently showing different motors and different impact mechanisms and stuff for impact drivers and impact wrenches, trying to get them smaller, more efficient, more durable, that sort of thing. And so first up here we've got a 40 volt, what looks like a 1/2 inch impact wrench, which is smaller because of the mechanisms that they're putting inside, and also supposedly a little bit quicker and a little bit like less impact on you, the user, because this one has the dual spring technology that you might remember from this impact driver in the back here. Let's take a look. This is the DST, stands for dual spring technology. So that gives you a little bit of, it won't focus here, come on, focus on that one, that's it. So it has 2 springs in here so that it, as one's pushing back there, the second one sort of takes up the pressure and the second one pushes it back a bit quicker, and so the hammer can get back to the anvil a bit quicker and get more impacts in a shorter length of time and reduce a bit of the impact on you and get a few more impacts into your tool and into your screw, damn it. And It's been a busy week. And as well as that, some people think these are a little bit quieter. I haven't really noticed, to be honest, but I use so many different impact drivers, sometimes it gets a bit confusing. Next up, a 40 volt impact driver. So similar to this, but a bit more compact. They've sort of managed to chop the front bit off. The plastic housing looks like it comes forward a bit further, and this part of the tool is sort of recessed in a bit more. So the whole overall tool is a bit shorter here. A few other little tweaks on the tool. But the most interesting thing, like the impact wrench I just showed you, is the insides of this thing. They're coming up with different ways, different methods of making your tool not have as much impact on the tool parts so that it lasts longer, hopefully give less impact and reverberation into the user as well. So there is several different designs in this patent, and there's several other different patents that are all released around the same time that sort of override each other and what have you. And this particular one, if we look at this one here, look at all these springs. What is going on here? So there's some interesting designs. Some of them might just be red herrings to throw off other tool companies. I don't know. That's just speculation, of course. But you never know. Or some of these might be, you know, coming out soon in the TD004G. Who knows? Next up, another impact driver, but this one is an 18 volt. And it's along the lines of this one, the 173, but once again, they've managed to make it a little bit more compact, taking the front off a bit, pressing things up, and changing the insides as well. But most of the patents for this is, they released like 3 of them at the same time. Most of them seem to focus mostly around the ring light and different versions of a ring light, different technology for that. So they're still looking into that because those patents were only filed in April and they've all been released just in the last week. Most of the patents I talk about in this video were filed in April after the 173 had already been released, so it's not for this particular tool, it's presumably for the 174 at a guess. This area here is different on the picture as well, so the screw is like going through the top there, there's a little bump. They're trying to take as much plastic and weight out of this thing by the looks. They've left the control panel on the back, which is nice because that's very good. That and the ring light were the major improvements on this particular tool. But there is a couple of designs, some with more aluminium on the front instead of having the plastic come forward like this, sort of stops halfway. It's a bit hard to tell whether they're just Makita playing around or whether they are seriously looking at those options or whether it is showing the tool with part of it missing. Next up, back to 12 volt, we have a drill. Now this is patents that have been added to since 2015, and the big difference for this one is mostly what they're showing is stator and windings. So they're looking at ways to get it more efficient and more powerful, and that leads me to believe they're making it in conjunction or to work with the new 5 amp hour 12 volt battery. Because some other brands' 12 volt tools certainly do smash Makitas when it comes to power, so maybe they're trying to up the ante with the battery and with the drill. And I wonder how many comments have been left by now on this video about new 21700 cells in 18 volt batteries. Another thing that Makita could do with 18 volt batteries, if you've watched my video on this battery in the background here, the new 40 volt F battery, 4 amp hour F battery, high output battery basically, you will have seen that this has new cells in it that nobody else has been using, and they are presumably tabless. I haven't cut one open to find out, and I'm not sure if the information is up on the interweb yet. There was no information when I made the video for that. It was all speculation on whether they're tabless, but I'm presuming they are. The battery cell companies are also working on 18650 cells that are tabless. All the Makita 18 volt batteries use 18650 cells, so if we could get 18650 cells that were tabless, they could keep these the same size but have a lot more output. Maybe like this, depending on the tool, you can get like up to 30% more power on certain tools I've noticed. Particular like circular saws, this is pretty darn good. So different things will give you more power, same runtime, but more power. And a bit more power in the 18 volt tools would be nice, but I know a lot of you want extended runtime as well. And maybe they've done 21700 in this. Will they now do 21700 cells in the 18 volt batteries? The main reason, according to the internet, that they don't is because you have two of these next to each other on an 18x2 tool. If they change them to the 21700 cells, the batteries have to be bigger and they'll crash into each other. You won't fit them on the tool. Some of the later 18x2 tools, they put a bigger gap between the batteries. So that also led to speculation they were about to release 21700 cells in their batteries, but it hasn't happened yet. Anyway, back to this 12 volt drill. It also has a strange looking back on it where the bearings come out the back. There is usually an indent in the back of a drill or impact driver where a bearing will sit. But on this one, it seems to be outside the tool essentially. Also with a little loop where you could, I guess, hang it on your belt, clip it onto something. So hopefully we will get some new 12 volt tools, CXT tools, to go with the new 5 amp hour battery. Here's hoping. Next up, the most elusive Makita tool, the cordless framing nailer. So 3 patents were released a few days ago. They all seem to supersede each other from what I can tell, from what I've read. And if we take a look at the image here, they don't give you a lot of detail about what certain things are. If we take a look at this image, you'll see this area here, which I'll circle in red. It's actually open. It's not a sealed piece of plastic, it's like an open cavity. If you look in the description of the patent, you'll see that it says that it may be used or could be used for a motor housing. They might put a motor in there if they need to. So it's definitely not a finished patent, or it's just another vague one to try and throw people off. If you also look at the top of the tool here, you'll see this strange bit which has evolved from this patent to this patent. On the first one, it sort of looks like a slide switch. It goes from one side to the other, which would maybe be a quick release for the top, or maybe a bump fire switch in a strange location. Whereas on this next patent picture here, you'll see that there's like a screw, perhaps. So maybe this is so you can top it up, maybe like the Ryobi and AEG framing nailers, if the air cylinder gets a bit low and loses its pressure. But these patents mostly focus on the driving mechanism. So there's lots of images, lots and lots of images. If I have time, I will do another video over on my other channel, Voiceless Tool Reviews. What do you mean you haven't heard of Voiceless Tool Reviews? Really? Look down in the description. You'll see 2 other channels of mine, Builds and Stuff and Voiceless Tool Reviews. Builds and Stuff is kind of like a B channel. It's just little things. Sometimes people ask me a question and I just test a little thing. It's not worth making a big video for tools and stuff. So that's Builds and Stuff. And Voiceless Tool Reviews is, as the name suggests, they're just short little sort of up to 5 minute long videos. No audio. Well, there's music, but there's no talking from me. It's all just stats on the screen, just telling you about the tool. So go and subscribe to both of those. And if you're lucky, there will be a whole lot of patent pics of this nail gun. Now, when I say this nail gun, if we take a look at the battery area, it is clearly an 18 volt tool, not a 40 volt tool. From information I have found out, it looks like Makita will be releasing 2 18 volt nailers first. 2 18 volt nailers, you say, tools? That's right, 2 of them. So one will be clipped head and one will be for full round head nails. Now, some nailers from other companies can do both and some don't. And some do, if you're lucky, occasionally, and sometimes they don't. So Makita have taken any ambiguity out of that by just making one or the other. So most guys, I'm guessing, will go for a clipped head. Bit annoying that you have to buy 2 if you wanted to use some full round head nails, but if you are a builder just framing houses and decks and things like that, then you're only going to need clipped head nails anyway. But I know for certain things you have to have a full round head, so in that case you can always buy the other one. Now, these aren't going to be out anytime soon, so I will give you more information when I know them. I've heard all sorts of dates, but I'll wait until I get a bit more concrete evidence before I get your hopes up. But it looks like it is finally gonna happen. So go and check out Voiceless Tool Reviews now down there. I'll put a link also in the comment section if I've gotten around to actually putting a video together to show all the different patent photos. Not photos, sketches, drawings. And is this the last update of the year? Well, who knows? Makita tend to release something really exciting usually right at the beginning or right at the end of the year or right at the beginning of the next year, right when I want to take a holiday. So there might be one more of these in December before the end of the year. If there isn't, Merry Christmas and all that stuff, Happy New Year, yada yada yada, and I will see you all on another one of these, maybe this year, maybe next year. Cheers everyone, have a good one. Don't forget to go and watch the video for this and the 12-inch miter saw video that just came out as well. And if you haven't seen this one, oh look at this, isn't it a funny colour? This has got teal coloured TPE overmolding. Oh, and it's only 14 volts. Oh. Okay, cheers.